Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be another secret origin of video. It's actually going to be multiple characters this video because we're going to be tackling all of the Titan characters. If you're new to the channel, I post Crash Bandicoot content every weekend, usually on Saturdays, sometimes on Sundays. I talk about Crash Bandicoot theories, Crash Bandicoot lore, Crash Bandicoot news. So if that's something that you think's interesting, maybe consider subscribing to the channel. With that said, we're just going to jump into the topic. So this video is going to be a tad bit different from my other secret origin of videos. Those ones I like to go into detail about like the history of a character. But for the Titans, we already know how they were created. They were created through mojo mutation. So for this video, I'm actually just going to show where Cortex actually obtained the animals to make each one of the Titans. Because believe it or not, almost every single one of the animals that you see as the Titans, the animals that compose them are all native to the Wumpa archipelago. That being the three islands, Insanity Island, Wumpa Island, and Cortex's Island. So, we're just going to jump into the first Titan, and I'm going to show you where they originated. Future Tom here. I forgot to mention this when I first started recording. I wanted to make it a point to say that all of the levels in Crash Bandicoot 2 actually took place on the islands and in the space station. But some people were unaware that Crash Bandicoot 2 levels were actually still on the island, and they thought that it took place all throughout the world. I just wanted to clarify that Crash Bandicoot 2 levels happen on the islands as well. Back to past Tom. So the first one I wanted to discuss is Spike. Spike is a porcupine. So where did Cortex get a porcupine from? On Wumpa Island, on the levels Snow Go and Snow Biz, you can see these little porcupine fellows. So Cortex collected up the porcupines and used mojo mutation on them to create Spike. And then we have Ratsicle. Ratsicle is another iconic Titan. He is a rat with ice powers. There are rats on Cortex's island in Fumbling in the Dark. So Cortex got the rats right from his island. Sticking close to the Cortex island, we have Arachnina. This is a giant spider with mech attachments. And where do we have spiders? Again, Cortex's island and Fumbling in the Dark. And then we have Battler. The bat with switchblades for arms. On Wumpa Island in Sunset Vista and the Lost City, there are multiple bats that look very similar to Battler. So it's safe to assume Cortex got the bats from Wumpa Island. Electric. This one was always one of my favorites. He's a giant eel, an electric eel. Cortex's Island in the sewers, Eel Deal, and Sewer or Later. There are electric eels. So it's pretty much confirmed that's where the electrics came from before they were mojo mutated. Now this one is cool. This is Gore, who is comprised of a grizzly bear and a boar. And initially, in the original trilogy, there were no bears or boars. There were warthogs, but there were no boars. So I was like, oh no, those animals weren't on the islands. But then in Crash Twinsanity, both of those animals were in the same level. So on Insanity Island in Totem Hokum, there was both the grizzly bear and boars. So I thought that was really neat that both animals that comprise of Gore were in the same level. And then the Gore animal appeared on said island. Magmadon. He's literally a turtle that was given magma powers. And we have turtles on Insanity Island, in Native Fortress, and the Great Gate. Sludge, the disgusting green blob. Sludge was a warthog that was mojo mutated. So they were on every island of the Crash Bandicoot, or of the Wumpa Archipelago. Insanity Island, Wumpa Island, and Cortex's Island. They were in all of the riding stages and on the bridge stages. Then we have Snipe. He's made up of a fox and a parrot. It's kind of funny that we've never seen a native fox in the Crash Bandicoot series. Up until Snipe's first appearance, there is a little fox cub walking around unaware that Snipe is there. So on the Wumpa Islands, evidently, fox are a native species. And then as far as parrots go, there was only one instance that I could remember of parrots being enemies, but that was in Crash Warp, or Crash the Wrath of Cortex, and I wasn't sure if those levels take place on the islands. But I do know for a fact Cortex had access to parrots in Crash to Insanity, so Cortex had access or means of getting parrots to do experiments on. So the Wumpa Islands for the fox, and wherever Cortex got the evil twins, I guess he could just grab more parrots and make some snipes. Stench. Stench is made up of a vulture and a skunk. Skunks are native to Insanity Island, and vultures are on Cortex's Island, specifically Slippery Climb. This is TK. TK, I wasn't 100% positive on his species, I just knew he was a bird. But if you go to Crash Mania, he is a penguin. And I know HP Zoner, he doesn't post things unless he's absolutely positive. So I'm assuming he got his information from somewhere, whether it be an interview or other materials. I couldn't find where he got his information, but TK, according to Crash Mania, is a penguin. And we have plenty of penguins. On Wumpa Island, Snow Go, and Snow Biz, there's plenty of penguins. So evidently they took a penguin egg, because TK is clearly an embryo, so there's the penguin. Now these next three are not 100% confirmed, and feel free to tell me where these locations are in the comment section if you actually know. But I'm going to show what I found and what potentially could be the origin of these three titans. So this is Rhino Roller. He's composed of an armadillo and a rhino. So the armadillos are on Insanity Island in the Pits and Turtle Woods. And then rhinos chase Crash in a Jeep in Jungle Rumble and Wrath of Cortex. But like I said, I'm not sure if the Wrath of Cortex levels are meant to be taken at the islands, or if they're just all throughout the world. Because you have Coco's VR Hub, and clearly some places are not on the island. Like you have a level where there's a tsunami chasing Coco, and she's on a scooter. but some of them may take place on the island. So I said potentially Insanity Island, Wrath of Cortex, Jungle Rumble. You've got rhinos chasing Crash. So that's where Cortex would have gotten the rhinos and the armadillos. Another iconic one, we've got Scorporilla, who is made up of a gorilla and a scorpion. So gorillas were easy. They're on Wumpa Island, Road to Ruin. But then for the scorpions, there's two instances of scorpions. One was in a Crash Warped level, but the idea of Cortex needing to obtain scorpions by going back in time seemed a little crazy to me. And then there are scorpions in the Gold Rush level in Wrath of Cortex, which is set in a desert. And there is a desert on Wumpa Island in the Wastelands, so potentially the scorpion could have been from Wumpa Island. Then this last unconfirmed one is Shellephant, who is an elephant and a crab. So crabs, obviously, they're the first enemy that Crash ever encounters. Insanity Island, Insanity Beach. But then for the elephant, there weren't any elephants in any of the Crash games. However, there was a woolly mammoth, and considering they're extinct, I think Cortex cloned woolly mammoths the same way that he cloned the Tasmanian tiger, because the Tasmanian tiger is also extinct. So I'm pretty sure that Cortex made these mammoths. So the mammoth and the crab would become Shellephant. But again, this is Wrath of Cortex, so I wasn't sure where the snowy themed area was. If it is on the islands, it would have to be on Cortex's island, because that's where the other snow levels happened. And then that leads us to our last two titans that unfortunately I do not have an origin for. Grimly, and I don't know what he is. That's how come I can't give him an origin. I don't know what his species is. I assume he's just supposed to be a ghost character. He slows down time, and he looks like a ghost, and his arms are not connected to his body. So if anyone knows what his animal is, and what island Cortex got the animal from, feel free to let me know in the comment section. But I really don't know what Grimly is. And then the last titan of the video is Yuktopus. And Yuktopus is 3 animals, none of which have ever made an appearance in any Crash Bandicoot game. Yuktopus is a yak, an octopus, and a duck. We've had many underwater levels, and we've never had any octopus monsters. We've never seen any ducks, and we've never seen any yaks on any of the islands. So this one, I feel like Cortex went way out of his way to go get animals to create Yuktopus. Yuktopuses did appear in the Nina levels where you were at her school, so they could be from off-island at Nina's school, but that doesn't really go in theme with all the other ones. So if you guys spotted the octopus, yak, and duck in the series that I happen to miss, please let me know in the comments where they were. So that was the origin of all of the Titans. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it was a long one. It was just one that's been on my mind for a while, and then I actually had someone request this video as well, so it kind of was killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. You take care. Have a good night.